Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnikins at Commodity Classic. And thank you to our Commodity Classic sponsors, including the Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board, Synergy Co-op, Wisconsin Farmers Union, Osteoplastics, and Compeer Financial. Joining us, Sara Stelter. She's president of the Wisconsin Soybean Association. They work on issues, and so we're going to talk with Sara a little bit about that. And Sara, recently, a group of Wisconsin growers was out in D.C. Tell us about that.
That's correct. We had about 6 growers that went out, and the purpose of us going out is to talk with our legislators about the bills that are coming up and the different programs that are coming up. The Wisconsin Soybean Association is the lobbying arm of the soybean programs. We do not receive checkoff dollars. I just want to make that clear. We're not using checkoff funds. It's strictly based on membership and sponsorships. But our purpose then is to advocate for laws and regulations that will benefit farmers. So specifically when we were out there this week, we talked about the Farm Bill, which is a huge deal that is coming up this year, hopefully for a vote. And we also talked about the Waters of the United States changes that are possibly coming through the EPA, as well as the need to use more biodiesel fuels.
You know, let's first talk about the Waters of the U.S. rule. That this is something that I think folks that aren't on the farm don't understand, that the way if the rule's too ambiguous, that pothole in the driveway could end up being regulated here, which that's not what it meant. It's not what it was supposed to be.
Correct. It was originally supposed to be to protect the waters of this country, but what's happening is there is no clear-cut way on the way that the Army Corps of Engineers will define what is considered waters of the United States. So for instance, you might have a small pond on your property. They could come onto your private property and determine whether or not it's a private pond or if it's part of the waters of the United States. If it's part of that, then you will have to follow the regulations that guide that program. The other thing that people don't realize is that this has huge implications for cities and towns, whether they be rural or urban, because it could potentially hold up building projects of infrastructure for years. Because what needs to be done is if for instance, if a town needs to build a bridge, they need to get it clarified whether or not it's under the WOTUS, which is Waters of the United States. It's under the WOTUS law, or rule, or if it's not. If it is, then they're going to have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to get that approved in order to build a bridge. So it's going to have huge implications not only for farmers but for everybody.
Talking with Sara Stelter, president of the Wisconsin Soybean Association from Commodity Classic. And again, thank you to the Soybean Association, Soybean Marketing Board. They're helping out with some of our broadcasts from Commodity Classic. Sara, the biodiesel, there's really I know there's a big push for electric stuff, but boy, there's such an opportunity, I think, with biodiesel, not only from trucks and cars, but I think even airplanes.
Absolutely, and the thing is, you're not going to get an electric combine. You're not going to necessarily get an electric semi. You're not going to get an electric Caterpillar that's going to move dirt around. It's just not going to happen. But they could be converted to biodiesel or biofuels. Even now, I mean, they don't really have to even be converted. They can just use those fuels. So, I mean, we could be doing this now. And the frustrating thing for me as a citizen of this state and country and as a farmer is we don't have to wait 10 years for electric cars to come online and for the infrastructure to be able to charge the electric cars. We've got the knowledge now to extremely reduce the carbon emissions by using biodiesel and even ethanol. So we've got the technology now, but it's just not being used as much as it should be. And this has been proven time and time again on the East and the West Coast where they are using it, they are reducing carbon emissions. And so what we need to do is to get everybody involved in this.
Talking with Sara Stelter. She's president of the Wisconsin Soybean Association. Again, one of our sponsors of our broadcasts from Commodity Classic today. Sara, I know that I'm going to talk with our friends from Wisconsin corn growers about this, but I would think that soybean growers are a little nervous about this situation with Mexico and them saying, well, we're going to break this trade agreement. We're not going to let GMO products in. That has to be a concern.
It's absolutely a concern. Primarily, first and foremost, is you very, very rarely would find a soybean farmer that's not also a corn grower. So we need to, be cognizant of that. The other thing is right now they're saying it's not going to affect soybeans, and I haven't been following the corn discussion very, very closely. But as I understand it, the argument is they want to protect what is being grown in Mexico. And they want to keep GMO products away from it. Right now, it's just corn. Who knows if down the road it will be soybeans? And certainly it's going to have implications for all of us just in terms of the overall trade picture.
Finally, Sarah, before we let you go, we had a chance to talk at Corn Soybean Expo, and I had a chance to talk with Steve Trebetowski. He's working the show here at Commodity Classic to maybe have some extra exhibitors come up to Corn Soy Expo here next year. That's kind of exciting.
It's very exciting, and that's great that he's doing that. I mean, the more we can increase our show, the better off we'll be. We'll have to figure out the space issue because we were pretty well filled up last year, but I think we can deal with that. And we had a really successful show last year, and we're really looking forward to next year.
All ready for spring planting?
Getting there. It's a little bit further away yet, but I guess after this show, I really need to start thinking about it.
Well, how about we enjoy the sunshine in 85 when we recorded this, and back home's getting the snow. I think we'll enjoy some of the nice weather for at least a few days.
Absolutely, and I would just like to put in a final plug for soybean growers and even corn growers to join your associations because we are the lobbying arm of your programs, and we really need the support, especially now with the Farm Bill and everything else that's happening.
Sara Stelter, President of Wisconsin Soybean Association. We're at Commodity Classic. I'm Brian Winnikins for WRDN.